This journey is about remembering who you are, not who other people told you to be, not what your intrusive thought likes to remind you that you're not enough about something again, not the worry that creeps in or the anxiety. Your past does not define you. It's about remembering who you are. Hey, I'm Sarah Evangeline. Welcome back to my show. Here, I'm giving you tools, insight, clarity to rebuild love from the ground up. So many of you guys actually need to take the time to redefine love. Love was shown to you in not the healthiest of ways. I actually had a beautiful, release cry with one of my neighbors this morning, just sharing that I'm overwhelmed with the peace and the love of the people in the community here because what they're doing is they're reflecting back to me a love that I've taken time to create within myself to give to myself. And now I'm in this community where people are just showering me with authentic love, where there's no hidden agenda, there's no being taken advantage of. There is just pure love of people wanting to help people, of people seeing you, wanting you to thrive, celebrating you, people valuing you for who you are. And I want you, there's so many of us that did not receive that nurture in childhood. And this is some psychology. Um, when you're born and your mom, let's say, is not happy, a lot of us grew up with moms that weren't happy, that weren't content, that weren't fulfilled. They were empty within themselves, or they were in an abusive relationship with your dad, or they just were full of anxiety. We felt that as children. It's not so much what we were told, it's what we were demonstrated over and over again, and what we watched to be as love, but it wasn't really love. It was something else. It was this distorted view because our mom was not okay. I just feel called to share this. So, psychology shows and that the happiness of our mother dictates whether or not we grow up in worthiness, self-love, or if we keep abandoning ourselves. So, what was demonstrated to you? It's really important not to force up memories, but to just allow yourself to move from being numb to actually feeling what's going on in your body because you deserve to be overwhelmed by love that just sees you for who you are, having people in your life that want to value you. And if any of you are in toxic relationships or struggling to set the boundaries or not knowing how to walk away from something, let's dig into this because, you know, the best thing that you can give yourself and your kids and even the people in your life, whether you're a parent or not, is cultivating happiness and love within you. It floods into everything else. And so we need to remember who we are. The conditions, the distortions, the manipulation of this world is not really us. Um, and so, you can even ask yourself, am I making decisions in my life based out of fear or based out of love? It's really important to allow yourself to ask that. Am I making this decision out of fear of something bad happening or the fear of not being accepted? Or am I deciding something out of the love that I already am? You will have a very different result in your life when you choose to operate out of love. And the thing, though, is that you might need to just sit back and reflect on what love actually means. That's one of the biggest things I tell my clients that we have to redefine and relearn love. Because if love meant that you can't speak up about your emotional needs, if love meant you had to be forgotten, if love meant you were neglected, if love meant abandonment, you have an entanglement of a very imbalanced roller coaster, inner turmoil version of love that you're probably still operating in and actually seeing yourself through that lens. And we want to give permission, right? It's even just permission that it's safe to rewrite love. It's safe to rewrite love, and you get to rewrite it. You get to reparent your inner child into the love that he or she needs now. So, definitely get your journal books out. Just let yourself write. You can let your inner child be seen, and maybe she or he was not safe to speak up in your family or to other people, but you can speak up for you. Sometimes we're still waiting for that other person to come save us, and we all need people in our lives. We all need community, but we also need to realize that when we start to see ourselves, the game changes. When we start to see our worth, our outside circles changes. When you start to see your worth, you are not going to allow yourself to be belittled. You're going to know that you belong in rooms where people see you and they celebrate you and they want you to thrive. They don't want you to dim your light. So, you can even go to your mirror and look at yourself and say, we are going to take one step towards our self-worth today. We are going to take one step out of love and not fear today. And you might still feel the fear lingering. This is the thing is if you've lived in a distorted view of love for generations, all of your life, then you need to be really patient with yourself. The way you talk to yourself is really, really important. If you're shaming and judging and punishing your way there, it's going to be 10 times harder. You're going to get stuck. You're going to meet resistance. You need to actually meet yourself with so much compassion. You have come so far. Some of you guys have been in a hellish life. You've not known how to escape. And can you just look at yourself in the mirror and go, wow, like I'm still here. But the next step is yours. The next step is yours. So, what's really powerful and why I say that is when you're in the mirror and you're looking at yourself, you're re-imprinting. Right now, you have a lot of memories that you might not even remember, but your body and mind do, whether or not you logically think of it or not. And what was demonstrated to you as love is repeating and repeating and repeating. So you get out of your subconscious into your consciousness by looking at yourself in your mirror and telling yourself a truth out of love instead of unworthiness or lack or limitation. It's really, really beautiful. So let's move into remembering who you are. Your soul had a mission. Your soul had a dream when it came into this planet, in this world. And when we've had trauma and we've had, just hardship in our life, it can be hard to remember that. It can be like you're walking on eggshells and it's like, when is the next ball going to drop? And we really want to bring your power back. We want you to become the best version of yourself. And, that is such a become the best version of yourself has been something that's been glorified. And I do want you to become the best version of yourself. I feel like the life I have right now is the best version of myself that I have become. And I'm so happy to be here. And at the same time, you can't just become the best version of yourself by just that, I guess, you have to also meet your pain. And I think a lot of people are teaching manifestation and quantum leaping, which is a thing. Quantum healing and quantum physics is a neuroscience. It is real. It is very, very real. I wish that kids were taught this in school because we would have kids that would be manifesting at 19 instead of having identity crisis at 19. But we get to take our power back. And the thing, though, is a lot of people are teaching manifestation without telling the truth that if you've been carrying emotional pain and trauma and you haven't looked at that yet, you haven't dealt with that yet, if you try to bypass it, you're going to have what's called a quantum crumble. And I have had one or more of these where your nervous system needs to be nurtured. Your nervous system needs to feel safe. Your nervous system houses your body. Like, can we just take a minute to, like, when you're looking at yourself in the mirror and doing that exercise I gave you earlier, your body housed all the versions of you that brought you into this moment. Your body housed all the versions of you. My body has housed the version of me that wanted to give up, the version of me that would starve herself, the version of me that hated my reflection, that said awful things to myself, the version of me that would give her needs away in order to be loved and chase approval. And then, the version of me that also, made a promise to herself and worked on herself and met her pain. We need to really meet those versions of ourselves because if you try to become the best version of yourself, you will have identities that need to die. I was carrying the wounds of my mom. I was carrying the wounds of my dad. I allowed their story and their suffering to become my identity. I had to untangle that, and it is an entanglement. It is not just, okay, I meditated, I took my bath, I lit a candle, I'm good. No, there's some anger there. There's some fear there that's so valid. There's some deep loneliness or sadness that needs to be looked at, that needs to be nurtured. If you want support in that, all the details to join the Soul Talk method and to work one-on-one with me are below. But for now, let's just bring this into your awareness that there are pieces of yourself that probably need to be seen and met so that you can have this life where you're living a soul-led legacy. And I promise you, you know, we're taught over and over again in so many different forms that we have to have all the answers or we have to be fully healed in order to have something good come in. That's not true. You can just start to meet your pain and you will start to see shifts. You can have both, right? Like, I think part of the trauma is we think we have to pick between one or the other. You can have both. You can have healing and restoration. You can meet your pain and feel the pain that you've been numb to and start to set boundaries, have a healthy relationship, have a career move that you really, really have desired, but you've delayed because you didn't think you were worthy. You can have both. Because no matter what kind of trauma and pain that you've gone through, your soul has always remembered. Your soul, your inner being, is the part of you that knows, is the part of you that's wise, is the part of you that came into this world knowing that you have a unique voice, you have a unique purpose, and it's really important to give permission for that part of you to start to speak again. You may have had to stay hidden and stayed the peacekeeper and dimmed this part of you as a way to survive. So let me be one of the first people maybe to just tell you that it's safe for her or him or that part of you just to come up again. It's always been with you. It's been constant. Um, if you've been in a really hard place, a really dark place, but you felt that like little voice within you saying, there's more, there's more, there's more, keep going, or just this sense or this urge, even if you were in the depths of your darkness, that is your soul. That is the part of you that knows. That is the part of you that wants to connect with you, wants to remind you who you are. So when you're sitting with yourself and you're redefining love, give yourself permission to also explore the parts of you that you love, the parts of you that maybe have been called crazy or have felt like a misfit or haven't fit in. Those pieces are most likely connected to your soul. Maybe you have a dream or a desire that you've never said out loud and it might even seem crazy to you. Write it out. Let this part of you come alive because there is a soul that knew they would come into this planet and they would want to create something. And this isn't a invitation to put pressure on yourself of, oh, I've got to get this done and oh, I've got to create something. You get to co-create with the God who has created this world. You get to co-create with the universe. So I want you to also ask yourself, where are you delaying? Where are you delaying this part of you? We will self-sabotage and delay as a way of protecting, as a way of protecting. I know that you want this part of you to come alive. I know that there's a part of you that is so done with the pain and the patterns. You are so ready. And also, we delay because it has never been fully safe for us to be that part of ourselves. So there's a part of us that thinks it's safer to keep delaying, but it's not. It's not. So we have to call on the part of you that already knows. This is where we come back to that question of, are you operating in fear over love? Fear may always be there. Fear may be there for a little while as you start to change, as you become who you are, as you remember, the fear might linger because it's been with you for a really long time, but it's not all of you. Don't give all your power to the fear. Bring the fear with you. Don't let it dictate you. There's a difference. You can tap into the part of you that knows. And is that part of you going to lead your day? You don't need to have all the answers right now. You don't need to look at this with overwhelm and complexity. The trauma was complex. Your soul's purpose gets to feel easy, gets to feel joyous, gets to feel abundant, fulfilled. It gets to come naturally from your being where there's no force, there's no urgency, there's no suffering attached to it. So when you go to that mirror today, I want you to look at yourself and say, I'm going to take one step towards my soul's dream. Even if you don't know what that is, you're giving that part of you permission to be seen. And I promise you, if you do this for like a steady week, you are going to start to have some clarity. You're going to start to have some glimmers, or you're going to start to have like urges when you're driving in your car and something comes through with the music, and then you feel inspired to go do something or to go to a store, and that leads you to the next thing, into the next thing, into the next thing. It is safe to trust this part of you. It is safe to trust this part of you. I really hope that this video helps you. I'm going to leave that there. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know how this resonates with your journey. I really hope this helps move the needle forward in your path. You are amazing. Don't give up. And also, don't put pressure on yourself. You're exactly where you need to be, and the next step is yours. I'm Sarah Evangeline, and I will see you next time. Have a great rest of your day.